Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much to my wife's best friend, Royce Jones, and welcome everybody to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Josh Taylor. Good to talk to you on a Monday night and tonight for Bob Pompiani, but we got plenty to talk about. The Pirates bullpen blows another lead on the road. Lamar Jackson reports to minicamp for the Baltimore Ravens, and Pitt has got a 4-star transfer coming in to add to Jeff Cable's roster. We'll talk about all those things and more, but to help me discuss those things, my guest tonight, he is live in the 93.7 The Fan newsroom. He is one half of the PM team, weekdays 2 to 6. Chris Mueller, my old friend, how are you?
I'm good, Josh. When's pickleball on tonight's show? We got any pickleball planned?
We can talk pickleball, too, if you want to. Only you got to tell me about the shirt first. What we got here? Let me see it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the NWO ripoff. That's
Okay.
right. Yeah, this is and this one, hold on, I'll show it one more time. You know why I'm going to show it? Because I know for a fact that this was a very limited run that yours truly has one of the only ones of. So being bald and often loud and wrong about sports has its privileges, kids. Don't ever give up on your dreams.
I was so looking forward to it being the real thing, but I'll take any version of the NWO I can get. You know me when it comes to wrestling. Let's start out talking about the Pirates here. This is the second time in a few games Chris's bullpen has blown a lead. And they've blown a lead against a pretty good team. They had a lead against Atlanta on Saturday. They had a lead against Charlie Morton, of all people. He leaves the game. They're leading him 4-2. Then the bullpen gives up 8 runs in an inning. They lose that game 10-4 to the Braves. Then tonight, they've got a 5-0 lead. Mitch Keller on the mound. He left the game giving up only 2 runs. Then the bullpen betrays him. They give up another 4 on top of that, on top of the 2 that he had left previously, that he had left stranded there. They give up 6 runs altogether. So now the Cardinals have a 6-5 lead in the 8th inning. Chris, it's starting to get to the point where we always talk about how good teams find a way to win. I had this discussion with Paul Zeiss the other day. We're talking about how, you have one thing one night and you don't have something else the next night. It sounds like in this particular case, this bullpen's just finding new ways to lose, Chris.
Well, the Pirates just aren't a very good baseball team, and yes, the bullpen at the back end with Bednar is strong, but it's not a great bullpen altogether. In fact, in some, it's pretty kind of mediocre, I guess, just like most of the rest of the Pirates. I think we all wanted to believe that a meaningful summer, or at least early portion of the summer, pre-All-Star break portion of the summer, Josh, was going to be consumed by meaningful baseball with that little surge of 7-3 the Pirates put together. But water found its level again here. This team is in the doldrums. Everyone is sort of on O'Neill Cruz watch at this point. I think he'll come up in that Giants series. That would be my guess. And really, this team is still at least, I think, a year, probably 2 years away from thinking seriously about contention, even with the expanded wild card. And maybe we were all kind of the suckers here for buying into one small competent stretch of baseball as being indicative of something larger. It's a 162-game season. Playing well for 10 games isn't uncommon, even for the worst teams in the sport.
Yeah, since that 10 games, they've lost 6 straight, and it could be 7 straight unless they mount a comeback tonight in St. Louis. You mentioned O'Neill Cruz. There's some scuttlebutt online, if you will, that O'Neill Cruz could make his appearance this weekend. Not to mention the fact that there's been a few guys coming up and down. Travis Swaggerty was here. He's been sent back down. They brought up Kanan Smith and Jigba. He came over to the Pirates in the Jamison Tyone trade. They're trying to shuffle some talent up here, Chris, trying to figure this thing out. How much of this do you attribute to these guys being ready, and how much of it is just them throwing something against the wall and seeing if it sticks?
I think in most cases they would like to see some of these guys get their first taste of it. In O'Neill Cruz's case, and do you have your abacus out? Do you have your calculator? Do you have a pen and paper handy? I can try to explain to people why exactly the Super 2 date isn't a hard and fast thing every year and how it involves percentages. And really, it's the most boring stuff ever, and nobody wants to hear about it. But that's the reason Cruz, I would have to believe, isn't coming up. Shelton he was asked about that, Josh. I don't know if you saw it. And he gave that sort of, that answer. Let me put it this way to you. Let me try to go back to your days at Duquesne, my days at Penn State. When you're writing an essay and you really didn't read the material as closely as you should have because it was one of your gen eds and you weren't that interested, you were just trying to fill out a credit, thing on your course load, and you start the essay by just sort of speaking a little bit generally about everything, and Shelton was saying things like, oh, we're going to work on there's some other things he's got to develop, just trust me. And, it just tells me that they're waiting for a certain cutoff point to feel good about him not qualifying for Super 2. As for the rest of these guys, I think it's about time. I mean, Swaggerty is not young. This is one thing that I don't know about you, but I get frustrated with when it comes to the Pirates. It just seems very infrequent, if non-existent, for them to have a young player come up, be exceptionally precocious, and be at 21 years old even. I'm not even asking for a 20 or a 19 like a Juan Soto or Mike Trout.
Right.
It feels very infrequent that they have a very young player, maybe Contreras is one semi-exception, come up and look like they're ready before their mid-20s. And you need more of those kind of young 20s, early 20s guys, I think, to really have something going here.
I think that's totally fair. 412-575-2600 is the number. Give us a call on the Borderson Borders hotline or shoot me a tweet at Josh Taylor HD. In the meantime, Chris describing writing essays in college that I feel seen, so I need to take a minute and kind of get my breath back during the break because you really hit home way too hard. We'll be right back. Stick around.